Hello, this is Broyar, and welcome to a brand new Let's Play series for Farming Simulator 2022. We are going to be trying out a different map today. I say different. We've been on this map before in Farming Simulator 19, if that tells you what map it is, although I'm sure you guessed that from the thumbnail, because we are going to be doing some Swiss chocolate on this playthrough. Just something a little bit different from our other playthrough. Our other playthrough is not going anywhere. It is still going to be continuing on. In fact, it's probably going to be my main playthrough for right now. This one's going to be a little bit more specialized, really focused in on the dairy farming and the chocolates and stuff like that. So, yeah, I just thought it'd be a lot of fun to try something different. That's one of the things about Farming Simulator. There's so many different things that you can do. It's really hard to get them all into one single playthrough. So I wanted to kind of branch out a little bit and try a few of the other things with a few, like I said, some more specialized videos here. Probably only upload this one every other day, but I might have something else for those other days. We'll see. But let's get ahead and get into this and see what it takes to make some Swiss chocolates. All right, here we are in Switzerland. And I just love this view. This is so good. So cool. I have personally been to Switzerland. I don't remember this exact view. I mean, this is just like a mock-up maybe. I don't know how realistic this is, but Switzerland is awesome. I loved it there. It was one of my favorite places when I went to visit Europe 20 years ago, at least now. Something like that. I think it was back in 2001, something like that. So yeah, it's been about 20 years since I've been to Europe. So a lot, I'm sure, has changed. A lot of stuff's changed in the world since then, but it was definitely one of the most memorable experiences I had in Europe. Very beautiful. And I now live in the mountains myself, in Colorado, which has been very fun, very cool. But anyway, I just thought I'd start off on this little screen here. But there is the chocolatier here in this Erlengrat map. We'll get there. We're not going to be doing chocolate just yet. And the reason for that is because you need sugar to make chocolate. And to do sugar, you got to have a sugar mill. And I'm doing this on hard mode. I am doing this from start from scratch. And you can see I don't have all my money right now. And I'll show you why in a second. But because we need the sugar mill and all that stuff, it was kind of getting a little too tight. It's already probably too tight, to be perfectly honest. But it was getting even tighter with that. The sugar mill is like $80,000. I'd need to find some land to put it on, some crops to grow to put in it, things like that. We'll build up to that. What I have bought so far is the, I guess just their normal dairy, but with the chocolate split out. On this map, the map version does not have the chocolate in with the dairy. The dairy is a separate building. And in fact, we can go ahead and go over there now. In fact, actually, I've already bought it. So as you can see right here, we can make butter and cheese in this one. Now, it's a little bit cheaper than the normal dairy. It's $50,000, but it is going to allow us to do only cheese and butter, but both of those only require milk as the input, so we don't have to have the sugar yet. We will build up the sugar and, of course, the chocolate, because that is what I want to do. I personally like chocolate quite a bit, so figured that would be a good start, but we got to get started with somewhere. And the dairy with the cheese and the butter seemed like a good place to start. But anyway, enough looking at the mountains and the amazing bunch of corn here. I'm kind of leaving you guys in a little bit of suspense. You can kind of see through there, right? Here is our setup. I've already put a couple buildings down, as you can see, because I kind of just wanted to plan it out a little bit, get it set up. I've only bought field 18 here. That's all I've bought. It's a decent sized field, though. I mean, to be honest, for a starting field, there's plenty of space here. It's already got some sugar beets on it, which, to be fair, we could turn into sugar. But again, I'd have to buy the sugar mill to be able to do that. So I'm not sure what we'll do with the sugar beets. I'll have to think about that. We'll come back to that here in just a minute. But here is my cow pasture. I did go with the smallest of the cow pastures that actually had a building. This one was not cheap. It's like $244,000 to get this. So definitely not cheap, but I think it does have some of the automation already built into it, which will help a few things. And it can hold 45 cows, which I thought was a decent start. And there are two other sizes above this. So this is where we're going to be beginning. I thought about just going with the smallest pasture, but with only 15 cows, I was like, well, maybe I can do two of those. Anyway, I was like, at the end of the day, I was like, you know what? Let's just go with this. I like the way it looks. It's very, very cool. And then we have this building over here. I didn't buy an actual house. I bought this I guess shed or whatever like that. The house was like $350,000 on this map. It's a really nice house. Maybe we can work up to that. But then they had this little shed for like 50,000, 55,000, something like that. And so I went ahead and bought that. And of course, I mean, it does have an apartment up there. I mean, yeah, I mean, of course it does. But you can't actually sleep on this house. So the only other mod besides the Giants mods that I have downloaded is there's like a sleep anywhere mod I found. So I can sleep anywhere. So that's more for me, my own quality of life. You guys probably will not see me sleep too often. I don't think, maybe not. But for my own peace of mind, when it's nighttime and I'm having to sit here fast forward offline, trying to wait for the next day before I start recording again, it was just, let's just do this, leave this going. In fact, I might even run this on the other map, to be fair. It's just a quality of life thing so I can get more videos in. Because if I'm sitting here having to wait for 10 minutes, even at max speed, that definitely cuts into the number of videos I can do. I love this. I love this map. This is a great map. Looks great. Very, very good. We had started on this map in 19. We didn't get super far, but we were over there by the mill. There was like a field over there by the mill on the other side of this corn that we had played in that map. I have trimmed up this field, as you can see, so I can have a little bit of space for the two buildings over here. It was also at an angle. You know me, if you've seen any of my other videos, I don't like the things that are oddly shaped. Let's make it a rectangle, make me happy. All is well with the world. And so that's that. That is that. Eventually, we are going to buy the Chocolatier right there, that big white building. Beautiful building, but we've got to save up for it. I mean, it's $50,000. We could technically buy it right now, but what use would it be until we can get the sugar? As you can see, we do not have any cows yet. I figured I'd let you guys be here for that part. And probably not a great idea to go ahead and get cows yet, though, right? Because we need to feed them and water them and all the other things. And we don't have a ton of money. I have taken out the most load I could take, and this is how much we have left. It's not a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of leasing, unfortunately, at first, and I'm hoping that it still has enough money for us to do something with it. We're also going to try to do seasons with this, mostly because I want to see the snow in Switzerland. I thought it'd be kind of cool. So we're making this pretty hard. Seasons and hard mode are just doubly hard. And it's going to be interesting to see how this goes. I might eventually give up and turn off seasons, but for now, that is the way we're going to go. So for cows, what do we need for cows? We need grass so that we can make both hay and silage. And then we need straw to go in with that to make the total mixed rations. So total mixed rations is, I forget the exact ratio. I think once we buy or get a vehicle, we'll know for sure. But and in fact, actually, I think, is this one of the buildings that allows us just to drop off all the different bits and bobs? Is there a door here? There is a door. No, that one you can't go into. That one you can't go into. One of these, maybe it's the bigger one, allows you to just drop off all the different supplies, and then it goes around and does it. I haven't messed with the cows yet. That's part of the reason why I want to do this series, because I thought it'd be fun to mess around with something completely different from the other series. But there might be a way. I'm just maybe missing it. I mean, there's the milk pickup, I'm assuming. That looks what that looks like. And then over here we have the drop off of something. Oh, there's a door right there. I'll play around with it. I'll have to figure it out. If we can drop it off and just mix it out already. I don't think this one can, because it does look like, I think the one that mixed it had separate piles for everything. I think this one will let you drop off the TMR, and maybe it'll go around and do that, but I don't think it will. There's also stuff back here. I think this is for straw. Do the cows need straw? I think they did. I thought they did in the last game. We'll find out. But anyway, so we need straw. We need straw for the total mixed rations anyway. We need hay, and we need silage. You can technically feed cows. We don't have any animals yet. We could buy a few cows, but again, should we buy cows yet? We don't have stuff to support them. I think we got to have the crops, right? We've got to keep them alive. So we've got to figure out our field situation before we do the cows. Plus, that'll also help us determine how much money we have to buy cows. Young cows are very cheap, but they don't reproduce yet. There's 3 different types of cows. Sorry, I should back up. I think there's like 6 different types of cows. Within those 6 different types of cows, there's 3 different ages of cows. In fact, we'll come over here to the cow picker thingy, and I'll show you that here in just a second. Let's see here. Animal dialogue. So we've got brown Swiss, which most likely what we're going to do, because that sounds logical. We got Holsteins. We've got Angus and we got Limousine. Is that how you say that? Limousine? Limousine? So there are actually only 4 different types of cows. The Angus and the Limousine are not dairy cows. They're primarily for breeding. Though that does not mean that they don't make milk. I think they just make less milk and then they do breeding quicker. So these are more like your beef cows is what you would call these. Obviously, Angus beef. And then these 2 are your dairy cows, of course, which it says right there. This type is mainly used for dairy. So I think these reproduce slower, but then give you a lot more milk compared to the other ones. But as you can see, there are 3 different ages of cows. So we got 0-month-olds, whatever, newborns. We've got 12 months and we've got 18 months. If I understood it right, because I was testing around some stuff, they don't start breeding until they get to be 18 months. And that's when they can start breeding and reproducing and stuff like that. So even obviously the dairy cows will reproduce. So we can start with a few and they'll eventually we'll have more. But depending on how much money we have left over, I'm hoping we can get a couple 18 months. So we get a little bit of breeding going to get something from that. But we may have to settle for some of these cheaper ones initially. And honestly, we may have to primarily get some of these youngsters just to, make ends meet, so to speak. I don't know if I'm assuming they will start producing milk relatively quickly, but maybe they produce less milk at a younger age as well. I don't know that. We'll learn that together. Here's a cool train. I love this. Anyway, so getting the crop set up first will let us know how much money we have left over for the cows. Obviously, we've got to get a few pieces of machinery. Again, we're going to be leasing for quite a while because a lot of this stuff is very expensive. The only thing I might buy would be just a regular, everyday, run-of-the-mill tractor that we can just do all the time. But all the rest of the stuff we're probably going to have to lease until we can afford to buy it outright. So we do need straw. And we do need grass. I mean, I could technically get a little bit of grass and hay off the sides here. But I didn't want it to resort to that. That's part of the reason why I went ahead and just painted out the road and all that kind of stuff. And I was like, I don't want that to be the way I get my grass. I want to get the grass off the field. I'm thinking about splitting this field in half. I mean, that does make it 2 smaller production fields that aren't worth a lot, but it allows me to do the 2 different types of crops at once. I could buy another field, but that's just going to be way too expensive. The next logical field to buy would probably be like 20 or 21, 22, 18, one of these like down here. And these are not, wrong button, not cheap. Yeah, so about $100,000. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to split this field in half. I'm going to do it with the paintbrush so you guys can see how that works. In case you've not done it before. Although I'm probably going to do this unevenly and it's going to bother me, but that's all right. I'm going to go to painting and we're going to go to grass. And I'm actually going to use my mouse and keyboard because it's a little easier. And I don't know what's like. I'm probably not going to get it exactly half. So it's going to, since I can't. We need a lot of hay. We need a lot of silage. I think the smaller field should be the straw. We're not going to need a ton of straw. So probably what I'm going to do is I'm probably going to split it right here behind the building. And just do this back half for one crop and the other front half for another crop. Or I could actually, you know what? I'll split it here. That way I can connect a side road right through the middle there. That sounds pretty good. So let's go here and go. We're going to increase the brush size. I think it used to tell you what size brush you were using. I want a decent size. I think we're going to have to just do this size right here. We're going to split it right. Actually, you know what? Why don't I split it? Well, I'll split it right here in line with the road. That way I can bring the road over. We're going to just do grass for now. Here's hoping I don't screw this up. Trying to be very careful with getting right there in the middle. Come on. Almost there. All right, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. We got a straw one and a grass one. Decent size. I think these are going to work for us. Eventually I'll put a road through here, but I'm not going to waste too much more money. But you guys get the idea, right? So let's get into this. Since the sugar beets are just growing and it will take us a while before they get to the point where they are actually worth harvesting, then I'm going to have to plow these under. We got to get rolling while we're in the calendar year for planting. Oh no, we actually got one more month until we plant either wheat or barley. But even then, the sugar beet would not have been ready to harvest until October. Theoretically, we could harvest in October and still plant in October. It is possible. That is an idea. I mean, I've already mowed over a bunch of it, but we could still get something from it. But I would have to lease the equipment just to get the sugar beets going. And sugar beet equipment is not super cheap. But since we can't do anything else, is there anything else we can... Oh, we can do the grass. We can plant some grass right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and plow under, get the grass planted, get that rolling. Once we get the grass in, we can actually go ahead and get the cows. Because the cows can live off of just grass for quite a while. They do a little bit better with the hay, and then they do even better with the TMR. So let's go ahead and get the grass in here and go with that. All right. I know people complain about me doing too much talking, but since this is a themed kind of playthrough, I'm personally okay with it. And that's just the way it is. Let's get us a nice tractor. We're probably not going to need anything super, super big. Is there anything used right now, actually? That might be a good idea to start with. I mean, there is a sugar cane, which was, great. There's a nice little trailer here. I actually don't dislike that trailer, although it is one of those ones that's got the front pivot, the front axle, or no, front, what I'm trying to say. I guess pivot's the right word, right? Which are really hard for me to back up. I'm very bad at backing those up. There's a Rostamash header here, which we will need at some point. And a mower, actually. Pottinger mower. Huh. I mean, I wasn't planning on buying anything, but these might be worth buying. I mean, they're used, but we can repair them up a little bit and get some use out of them. Trailer. I mean, are we going to get a better trailer than that? I mean, yeah, there's some decent trailers, but that's a $23,000 trailer that holds 18,000 liters. Is that right? 18.5. Somebody told me meters cubed is 1 meter cubed is 1,000 liters, right? Is that somebody told me? If I'm speaking wrong or if I'm misquoting you, I apologize, but I think that's what somebody said once before. And so that's a big trailer. That's going to hold a lot of stuff, more stuff than we need, quite frankly. But for the same price as this trailer right here, I can get me one that's twice the size. I actually think we buy all three of those things. We're not going to need the sugarcane thing, but these other things we're going to definitely need at some point. So let's go ahead and grab this. And this just goes on the front of the mower. I mean, at some point I'll want to get one on the back. This will do the job. We'll be able to mow just fine with this. So we'll go ahead and buy that. We're going to go ahead and buy the Rostamash, which, it's fine. We'll use that harvester. There's nothing wrong with that. And then we'll get the trailer. That is a nice big old giant trailer. Okay, well, I spent a little bit more money on those than I thought I would, but that is okay. I think we're going to be off to a good start. As far as tractors, I think a small tractor should be fine. I do need one that's got a front attachment because of that mower that we just bought. There's the Stair, there's John Deere, New Holland, Zetter. Zetter's not bad. I do like this vent. This vent's one of my, I mean, not to use the play on words too aggressively, but it is one of my favorites. I use this one all the time, and it is in fact called a favorite. I was thinking about doing something a little different in this playthrough than just running the same old. Wouldn't mind theming it at some point, to be fair. What kind of theme would we want to run? Look at that tiny little vent there. That's for the grapes and the olives, I think. Vulture is kind of cool. Go New Holland. Just good old-fashioned New Holland. Blue, color of the channel. It's a little bit more expensive. I mean, I was wanting to buy the tractor. Nice tires. I actually kind of like some of the way some of these look. We'll stick with standard Trailblazer for now, but we can always change that. We are going to need a front loader attacher at some point. We can always add that in if we buy the tractor. This is expensive though, right? I mean, it's going to leave us $55,000 to lease everything else that we need. I think we'll still be okay. It's going to be really, really tight. If we need, let's say we're going to be able to get up to 45 cows. I'll probably start with like 30 and let them breed up a little bit. 30 cows at the most expensive is $60,000. So we still have enough money to get the cows and a little bit of few things. I think we can buy this tractor. Is that more than we need though? I mean, we can go with a cheaper tractor. We go with like this Stair here. Just a simple, good old fashioned, get the job done tractor. 135 horsepower. It's actually not bad. It's not a bad little tractor. I mean, there's not much you can, we can attach a front loader. So that is an option. It's not bad. Honestly, it's not bad at all. I know I'm being undecided, but I'm trying to be careful here and get the right thing. We are going to need a plow because the sugar beets are root crops. So maybe we'll start with that. Let's start with looking at the plows and see what kind of plow. What's the cheapest plow? It's 14,000 and it needs it's a tiny plow. Can you, I forget, you can cultivate under the stuff, right? Or not, subsoil? I think you can. I always forget. Every time I come in here, I forget what you can do and which ones you can't. I think you can. And we can get one of these that only needs like 120 horsepower or something like that. 130 horsepower. That's the one we use in the other playthrough. So that doesn't need that much. How much are the medium tractors, just out of curiosity? There's actually some not crazy expensive medium tractors. Yeah, for the same price as that other tractor we were just looking at. There are some medium tractors that are in the same category. Oh, look at this case on the end. You know what? This reminds me a lot of one of the tractors my grandfather used to drive. I mean, in fact, this may be the exact model that he drove for all I know. Because I just, red tractor looks very familiar. You know what? $97,000 is not bad. Oh, we can't put a front loader on this one, though. Never mind. All right. Well, that's a no-go. We need one that can have a front loader. Let's go with this Massey. Can have a front loader. A little cheaper, but it's a more powerful tractor. But do we even need something that big? We're doing small fields. What is the cheapest tractor we can get that has a front loader attached? Zetter. It's got front weight. There's the Massey. We already saw that. This is a tiny Massey. 95 horse. That might be a little too small. There's this Massey. Oh, this also doesn't have the front attacher. What else we got? The Valtra. I mean, it's the good old-fashioned Fendt. I mean, I may just be going to tried and true, good old-fashioned, do what it does. Just Zetter for just a little bit more. That's kind of a slick-looking tractor. It does have a front attachment, and it does have a front loader attacher. This might be the right move. It starts off at 117 horsepower, which is plenty. We can go up to 136 if we ever needed to. That might be the right move. If only this thing could have a front attachment, I would just use that one. All right, we'll go with the Zetter. Just something a little bit different. And let me think. 89,000, that leaves us with 170-ish. It's getting tight, guys. Getting tight. We're going to use this all the time. We've got to buy this one, right? We're going to have to go ahead and... We're not going to need the front loader attacher yet. But would I hate to run out of money and not be able to get it. So let's just do it. We'll go without it. We're fine. It's only like $1,500. If we can't come up with $1,500, then we've got other problems. Do we need wheel weights, though? We're going to be doing a little bit of plowing. I like that. Is that narrow tires? That does not look like narrow tires to me. I feel like some wheel weights help you with the plowing and stuff quite a bit. I like the wide tires with weights, though, to be honest. A little bit more traction, a little bit more stability. We're going to go with this and go from there. All right. So we bought us a tractor down to $165,000. We have contracts we can do, though. We are going to be able to do some contracts. So that is something. And, that's how we can get some of our grass, right? Because we don't always sell off all the grass with a contract, right? We can save some of it for ourselves. That is one thing we could do. Let's get us a plow or a subsoiler. We're going to go with this. And we'll just go with... I mean, we can just go with the red one that just matches our tractor, I guess. It's a little bit narrower, which might be fine, but it's like not that much more to get one of these. All right, let's go with this one. Matches our tractor-ish. Why not? We'll go with this. We're going to lease this one. It's only $535. Of course, there's going to be cost per day, but that's all right. Hopefully the tractor noises are a little bit louder. I can hear them louder. I'm hoping it. Let me just stop talking and see how it registers. I mean, it's on there. I mean, I don't know if it's loud enough. I can turn it up a little bit. It's because I know some people like the tractor sounds. Probably need a front weight for this, technically, but I think we'll be all right. We'll make it do. We are right here next to the shop, which is nice. Honestly, I think we could have gone by with the smaller subsoiler. Now that I'm seeing it on the tractor, it's pretty wide. More than we're going to need. Oh, I think I took a wrong turn. I took a wrong turn back at Albuquerque. Well, I guess we can go up this way. Go up the loop-de-loop. I was like, wait a minute. This is how I mean, my other Erlengrat save, I told you, we used to have this field over here to the left. I'm just used to driving this way, I guess, on this map. Oh, goodness. This thing is pretty wide. This 4 meters is very generous 4 meters here. Nice little entrance into our farm right here. Look at there. Looky there. All right, we're going to go plow under the far one. That's the one that is going to be grass. So we can plant that right now. Just get the worker going on that so I can start looking at some other stuff. Is that counting? No, it still needs plowing. Oh, no, it doesn't. Wait. Some parts say it does, some parts say it doesn't. Let's check this. This will be the true test. Now we're good. It's just where I was standing. It was overlapping the stuff next to us. And this is actually going to fertilize it for round 2. That's really, really good. All right, we are going to need a seeder. Some sort of seeding of some sorts. Just repeated myself. Apologize. So we'll need a seeder. I mean, it doesn't really matter. Again, whatever's kind of cheap and easy to get done. I love the fact that this really big one is the cheapest one, but that's just because it's a mod. Trippy Toad, I think this can be a little bit too big for us to maneuver around. I'd rather have one of these smaller ones, I think. These are all cultivators, yes. It says no previous cultivating or plowing is necessary. Well, that's convenient. I missed the Amazon one. We used to run an Amazon one all the time. I mean, they do have this one, but I don't think that's not the one we used to run, is it? Doesn't look familiar. Wheel weights on the tractor are recommended for use. We do have wheel weights on the tractor. Is there any major difference between these two? This one has a little bit more seed, but honestly, this one should be fine, right? This one's going to get the job done. All right, we're going to grab this one, lease it. It's not cheap. Get that leased up. Guy's doing his thing. We're going to get some rocks. These are smaller rocks, aren't they? Or no, I think these might be the bigger ones over here. So we will need to pick those up at some point or roll them under. The small rocks we can roll under. The big rocks we have to pick up. Sorry, to be clear. So I guess we should grab the picker-upper. I mean, honestly, at the end of the day, if we're going to have a chance of both, those are the big ones, right? They look kind of big. Wish it told us exactly what they are, but that looks too big to roll under. I mean, I guess I could get the roller and just see what happens. See if it rolls under the rocks for us or not. That's a big, big roller. It does feel like a waste to buy though, just to try it though, or to lease, I should say, just to try it. Can't really be too picky with our money. Honestly, at the end of the day, if it doesn't roll on, if we don't do it right, it's not that big of a deal. If we lose a little bit of efficiency, I think that's only like 5% to do the roll under properly. But I think we're going to need it at some point though, aren't we? To really get the maximum yield. I'm going to grab the stone picker upper. We are going to need that. And then, what else are we going to need right now? Got the cedar for, oh, you know what? Does that cedar even do grass? It does. Okay, I was making sure. I know some of the weeders or something like that, don't they do grass and stuff? Which is always nice to have. I think that's pretty much it. I mean, we're in a good spot for those. I mean, at some point we'll need a harvester and the mower and all that stuff. Well, actually, we got the mower. We'll just need a baler at some point, but we don't need to get that right away. No sense paying money for something we don't need yet. Another tractor would be kind of nice because we're going to have to wait and save some time here, or be patient here with this tractor doing its thing. I guess while we're waiting, we could always pick up a contract if there's one available. Now, somebody did mention that they thought that you could pick up contract items or like equipment and use that to do stuff on your own field. I, By the way, speaking of hay, there's a hay one right here. I've tried that before and it didn't work before. So if there's some way that you guys have gotten it to work, I'm willing to try it again. So maybe it was just a situation where I had tried it and it was things were not set up properly. But for example, if I grab you, I'm definitely going to borrow these items. Where is field 24? It's one of those big ones over here. It's pretty awkward shaped, but should be okay. We definitely want to grab that contract because it's going to be a lot of money for us. And it could give us a little bit extra hay to get us started as well. Or grass. I guess in this case it would be hay because it's tedding. All right, so we borrowed that. I'm going to go grab this equipment. We're going to go ahead and see if I can pick up like this rock picker upper. Let's try this first before we do anything else with this equipment. Let's try this rock picker upper. And see if it will let us pick up rocks on our own field. I mean, it's hooking up. I know I've tried this before, but maybe there's certain equipment you can and certain equipment you can't. And maybe I tried a piece of equipment that you can't and then assumed it was the same for all equipment. And it's not the case. Oh, you're coming this way. My apologies. Excuse me. Sorry, coming through. That is very likely what could have happened. Because, you know, if I try something, sometimes I just assume all things work the same. Oh, it's a tight little entrance here. All right, we made it. Good thing about grass, I'm assuming it works the same way as it did in 19. Once you plant it, you don't have to plant anything more. So it'll just regrow over and over and over again. Okay, let's unfold this. And I mean, can I hire a worker? Or for one, I'm a little lopsided here, but we can always do that final pass later. It's picking it up. Okay, well, I stand corrected. I honestly did not know that that was the thing that you could do. I could have sworn I've tried that before. I really, really felt like I have. Maybe I only tried it in 19, or maybe like I said, when I tried it, maybe it was, maybe only certain pieces of equipment don't work, or maybe I'd finished the contract and then it was like, hey, let me see if I can use this equipment for my field after I finish the contract. And maybe that, I just rolled over 2 signs. This thing's pretty fat. I love this thing though. This is one of my favorite machines. Giant mower here. It's possible that I finished the contract and that kind of unflagged the equipment for use at that point. Who knows? Oh, this thing's kind of turning kind of weird though. The rear turning is making me turn a little bit sharper than I expect. We'll get you set up over here. Get ready to roll with this. Again, getting a little bit of hay will be good for our cows. If we get hay or grass, either one, we can go ahead and get some cows rolling because that'll be enough. Just knocking over every sign. That'll be enough for us to feed them. At least a little bit of efficiency and get them rolling. I think I cut across up here. I think I've done this before. Yep. I thought we could. Just think someday we're going to have massive cow pens and we'll have one of these things running around. Because we'll have to have it because we'll have all the extra awesome stuff going on. All right, so if I mow this way, actually I want to start at the other end, right? Because I don't think it really matters. Either way, it's going to get to a point where it's going to be like, it's going to cut into the field a little bit to try and finish its mowing, but we should be okay here. We'll start here and hopefully it's smart enough to do what it needs to do. I suppose one thing I could do is personally, manually here, is just go ahead and cut off the edge here. Although that's going to make the, we're going to have to ted it anyway, right? So let's just see here. Let's lower this. Turn it on. Look how it lifts up like this. Let's just cut it like a straight line over here. I like that it's cutting off the grass on the edge of it too. I just realized I'm not going quite exactly straight line, but it's better. I was like, where's my coordinates? It's on the bottom left-hand corner there. I wanted to be at a 360-degree angle there. That's all right. We'll make it work. Excuse me while I mow over your sunflower seeds. Yeah, that's a really bad line. That was not straight at all. Cut off the edges here. Give it a chance to Hopefully. Isn't this the one that does the, No, it doesn't. I thought one of these did the, windrowing as part of it as well. Should be some good grass on this field. We should be able to get quite a few leftover bales for us to do something with. I'll have to be careful though, because obviously I don't want them to sell the bales, even though that is good profit for us. I want to save those for our own cows, get those rolling as soon as possible. I just realized we're going at 0.5 speed. That's because I was doing all the setup, and I was like, I don't want like a whole day to pass, a whole month to pass while I'm trying to like do all the building placement and just try to experiment a little bit. So I slowed it down really, really big time. We can speed that back up a little bit though. Although I guess the game speed doesn't matter too much because we will be able to, I'll be able to fast forward to the next day. All right, I'm doing a very bad job of doing a straight line here. All right, good enough. Just going to run down this edge. Just might as well get it started. And then we'll do the other side once we get over there. I'm about to do this whole field myself. Guess it's saving us a little bit of money for the worker fee. I know this video is going a little bit long, but I wanted to kind of get into this and really kind of introduce the series and get going. And hopefully you guys can forgive some of my excessive talking at the beginning to lay the groundwork by the fact that I at least stayed around a little bit longer and did a little bit more stuff. Let's see, we're looking for 180. There we go. That should be a straight line. Alrighty. Let's just trim up this bit over here, and we are good to let the worker take over. So yeah, I guess we'll have to be careful not to finish this contract until we're done with all the equipment. So that'll be the difference that I try and make this time around. Oh, apparently I cut that a little tight there. That's going to bother me. I know it's one little patch of grass, but it's going to bother me that it exists. Oh, I did it again. I'm very bad at driving this thing. It's a good contract to start off with, actually. This will pay for at least one of those pieces of equipment that we already bought. So maybe then some, actually. That is very, very, very nice. Okay, whatever. Good enough. Good enough for whatever work. Farming work. All right, let me get the worker set up over here to finish up the rest of this. And I can go see how our rock picker-upper dude's doing and all the other people. Hopefully the worker can take care of the rest of this properly. Let's check on our other guys. You're still doing that. The rock picker-upper guy is stuck. Okay. I was like, oh, I see what he did. I was like, why is he sitting here, but he's not like stuck? Because he went to the outer edge instead of the inner edge, which is fine. We needed to get that pass anyway. I'm going to just get him here. Might miss that little section right there. Oh, he did it. Okay. We'll let him run back and forth, do his thing. And plowing's almost done. Then we'll get to be able to plant, I think. Unless there's something else I'm missing. I think that's it. But yeah, we're going to go ahead and put a cut in there. I know pretty long first episode, but hopefully you guys are excited about the new series. get to see some animals here. Hopefully we'll get the animals next episode, actually. I'm hoping that if we can get the hay off of that other contract, then I will feel comfortable go ahead and picking up some animals. So I do appreciate you guys watching, though. Please, if you like these types of videos and want to see more of them, just like the video, subscribe, give me some comments. Let me know what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, all that kind of stuff. It really, really helps out the channel. And he's turning the wrong direction. And but I do appreciate all the support I've been getting this last couple of weeks. It's been pretty overwhelming support. It does mean a lot to me, so I do appreciate it a lot. So thank you. May God bless you, and I hope you join me again next time. Goodbye.